Pokémon Horizons episode 69 just aired, marking the true beginning of the Kitakami arc. This episode was slightly controversial in the community because of certain things it didn't include, so let's talk all about it in my episode review right here, right now. So, the Rising Volt Tacklers have arrived at Mosui Town in Kitakami ready to find Brier and ask her about her research into Terapagos, but surprisingly the town is completely empty, there's no one anywhere. An old woman shows up and tells them that's because the Festival of Masks is happening right now, and in the anime, that festival's purpose is to pray for the growth of Kitakami's apples, and I find that really interesting as in the Scarlet and Violet games, the festival is all about honouring the sacrifices of Okidogi, Munkidori, and Fezandipinti against Ogopon. So either the Pokemon Horizons anime takes place before the Loyal Three supposedly sacrificed themselves, or it takes place after Ogopon's name was cleared and the truth was revealed. Either way, that means we probably won't be getting a story arc involving Ogopon like in the games, and that's a real shame, man. Okay, so this is now me from the next day talking, and it seems the subtitles for the episode have now updated to say it's the Harvest Festival, not the Festival of the Masks. So either the subtitles are wrong, or maybe this is like an anime exclusive festival that isn't in the games. Either way, for the rest of the video I've talked about it as if it's the Festival of the Masks, because unfortunately I can't re-record and re-edit the whole video now. But yeah, I just thought I'd pop in now really quickly to tell you guys that correction. Regardless though, the Rising Volt Tacklers go to the festival with all of them wearing Kitakami festival clothes, and dude, I seriously love how they all look. The way the kids are in green, the men are in white, the women are in blue, really cool, man. And how could I forget the elderlies are in camo clothing because Ludlow is nowhere to be seen. Anyway, at the festival, Friede bumps into a girl that we know as Carmine or Carbon Dioxide, whatever her name is, and Friede is really excited about her sinister partner. He wants to learn more about it. Carmine at this point is quite reserved and chill and calm, but let's be honest, we all know this won't last too long. Carmine tells Friede that she doesn't want to talk to outsiders like him, and then she says the only way she'll let him look at her Pokemon is if he beats her at a bunch of different stalls in the festival. So yeah, they both begin competing against each other all around the festival. Dude, we've seen the rivalry between Friede and Carmine for 2 seconds, and I already love it. I'm really glad they're not using Carmine as a rival or a problem towards Liko, you know? I really feel like Liko is just kind of too young and too pure for that, man. Friede is a much better match for her, he really matches her energy. Meanwhile, Liko, Roy, and Dot are exploring the festival too, having fun and trying to find Brier, and while Liko and Dot are having fun, Roy and Crocalor find a weird device with a weird man outside the festival, and the man doesn't seem to know what the device does. Anyone who's played the Scarlet and Violet games know this is the Synchro machine, which allows you to synchronize your mind with your Pokemon and control them, but Roy and Crocalor press both of the buttons at the same time. It creates a blue glow, and the device malfunctions. Basically, Roy and Crocalor's minds are completely switched. So now Crocalor's mind is inside Roy's body. Crocalor is saying his name repeatedly from Roy's body because he has control of Roy's body, and simultaneously Roy's mind is now inside Crocalor's body. So Roy is in control of Crocalor's body and is speaking the human language from Crocalor's body. Dude, it's so goofy and so funny, I love it. It reminds me of when Ash turned into a Pikachu in Johto, except this time it's a two-way street. Roy turned into Crocalor, Crocalor turned into Roy. So yeah, when they realize what happened, they begin panicking, and then Roy and Crocalor, or should I say Roy and Crocalor's body and Crocalor and Roy's body. This is slightly confusing. They both begin spamming the buttons on the device trying to return to their own bodies again, but the device is broken and it won't work now. So yeah, they're really trapped inside of each other's bodies with no clear way out. Bro, can I just say really quickly, I know that we already know how Team Rocket's Meowth learned how to speak the human language, but this really got me thinking of an alternate version, like an alternate universe. One where Team Rocket's Meowth in the past was actually a human with a Meowth as his Pokemon, and then maybe the human version of Meowth used this dodgy device with his Meowth. So then the human mind got trapped inside of Meowth's body, and then maybe his original human body with Meowth's mind in it ran away never to be seen again. Meaning the Meowth we know and love, the Meowth in Team Rocket, he could actually be a human mind stuck inside a Meowth's body. Hence why Team Rocket Meowth is so humanoid and human and speaks the human language. And look, I know that's not canon, we already know how Meowth learned English, but it's a really funny idea for like an alternate universe, you know? Team Rocket Meowth is actually a human mind in a Meowth body. You heard it here first. Anyway, Crocalor in Roy's body then dashes off excitedly, ready to explore the world as a human, as Roy, and Roy in Crocalor's body begins chasing him to try and stop him, all while the old man tries to fix the device. Roy in Crocalor's body has to try and learn how to move around as a Pokemon, which is pretty funny, and Crocalor in Roy's body reunites with Liko and Dot and obviously is acting really weird. That really confuses Liko and Dot, they know something's up. Roy and Crocalor's body dashes over in a panic, and Liko and Dot are absolutely stunned when they hear Roy's voice coming from Crocalor's body. They very quickly realize that Roy and Crocalor have somehow switched bodies. Dude, if I have to say Roy and Crocalor and bodies one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind. There's like no easier way to describe it though. Meanwhile, Friede and Carmine are still competing against each other at different stands in the festival, and Friede is winning over and over and over. Dude, you can really see Carmine getting more and more visibly angry and shouty as she loses. Meanwhile, Roy and Crocalor's body has now explained what happened to Liko and Dot, and they say they'll keep it a secret while the old man tries to fix the device again. But winning the worst timing ever award is Murdoch, who arrives on the scene, and he's immediately suspicious of what's going on. So Liko and Dot panic, trying to cover for Roy and Crocalor, and to try and cover up what's happening, they begin to eat some syrupy apples. But Roy doesn't know how Crocalor's body works yet, so he accidentally uses flamethrower and caramelizes the apple, and it's really funny seeing Murdoch as a food fanatic going crazy and hyping up the new baked apple, as if it wasn't a total accident. I guess Murdoch likes his apples drippy, bruh. Meanwhile, Friede and Carmine are still competing, and dude, you know that scene from Squid Game with the Dalgona or the sugar honeycomb? You know, the one where the characters have to carve shapes into the honeycomb without breaking it? Well, Friede and Carmine are now competing in their own version of that, something really similar, except without the threat of being unalived in the back of your mind, which probably makes it way easier, you know? And guess what? The shape they're carving out is Chubby Pikachu, bro! You know, the original chunky Pikachu from Generation 1. Man, that's nostalgic. Just looking at it puts a big smile on my face. It really reminds me of Ash's Pikachu in the early anime. That's an awesome reference, dude, that I never expected. So yeah, Friede once again beats Carmine at this as well, and now Carmine is so angry and so rageful that she demands a Pokemon battle. Sinistcha versus Captain Pikachu. Sinistcha uses the attack Matcha Gotcha, and that hits Captain Pikachu pretty hard, dude. But then Cap dodges the second attack and charges up a Thunder Punch, and that one-shots Carmine's Pokemon, dude. Cap really is just on another level, and of course, Carmine is horrified by this. She's so angry, man. Meanwhile, Molly is given some festival goers first aid, and it's really cool to see her doing her job here, you know? Molly helps a girl out, and then very shortly after, the girl nearly falls over, but luckily Crocalor and Roy's body stops her from falling over by catching her, and the girl even blushes at him. Brother, how is Crocalor and Roy's body closer to romance in one episode than most Pokemon anime characters are across hundreds of episodes? Crazy, dude. Anyway, shortly later, Orla is trying to fix a guy's oven thingy because it's broken and he can't cook food for everyone, and it's good to see her engineering skills playing a part in this episode too. But then Roy and Crocalor's body steps up and says that he'll use his flames to cook the food instead, solving everybody's problem. But then when Roy and Crocalor's body tries, he can't quite control his fire powers because it's so new to him, so he goes flying through the air by accident. But luckily, Crocalor and Roy's body lunges forwards and catches him, and in the sweetest scene ever, Roy and Crocalor's body thanks Crocalor and Roy's body really sincerely, and then Crocalor and Roy's body begins blushing out of joy, because now he knows how it feels to be the trainer he loves so much, and that really is the most sweet, heart-healing thing of all time, you know? Then Crocalor and Roy's body begin singing their battle song together, with Roy and Crocalor's body getting more fired up than ever, and this is a really dope concept, dude. Now Roy and Crocalor both know what it's like to be on either side of the song. They've both been the humans singing it and cheering on the Pokemon, and they've both been the Pokemon singing it and getting fired up by their trainer. They both fully understand each other now. They both fully understand what the singing means to each other, how truly helpful it is for both sides. So awesome, dude. So through this singing, Roy and Crocalor's body masters his fire powers, and the chef uses this to cook some amazing noodles for everyone. And then in another adorable scene, a little kid shows up, and he hugs Roy and Crocalor's body really tightly. The little boy declares that he now wants his first ever Pokemon to be a Crocalor, all because of how cool this Crocalor is, and this makes Roy and Crocalor over the moon in happiness. Shortly later, the synchro device is fixed, so Roy and Crocalor return to it and press the device together again, and luckily they return to their own bodies this time. Then Liko and Dot suddenly appear, begging the old man to use the synchro device with their Pokemon next. You see, Liko and Dot saw how synchronized Roy and Crocalor were, how even in each other's bodies they were still the ultimate duo. They understood each other better than ever, you know? So now Liko and Dot want to try that with their Pokemon too. too, and I find that really sweet, dude. But unfortunately, when Liko and Florigato try to use it, the device suddenly explodes. Brother, I am 100% headcanoning that Clement invented that device, because only Clement can make science as amazing as that, you know? And by amazing, I mean explodey. Later that night, after the festival ends, the Rising Voltaclers are joyfully eating their noodles together, and dude, it's so sweet seeing the whole family back together again fully, just having a fun day. Seeing them as a group eating their noodles really made me smile, you know? I know some people might criticize this episode for not being super plot heavy, but it really didn't need to be for me. Just seeing the Rising Voltaclers together again as a family really made me happy, you know? They deserve this piece, they deserve to have a day of just joy and good vibes. Carmine then arrives and declares another challenge versus Friede, but Friede tells her that right now his priority is trying to find Brier. Carmine responds by telling him that Brier is her homeroom teacher, and that Brier is at the Crystal Pool right now. But then Carmine mocks him and says that they can't go there too unless they have permission from the caretaker. But then hilariously, perfectly timed, the caretaker comes outside, and it turns out that his daughter is the girl that Molly and Crocalor helped out earlier. And she's still blushing at Roy, dude. Someone really needs to tell this girl that she fell for a Pokemon in a human's body, because surely that's illegal, man. And yeah, what's really funny is that after Carmine ranting about how none of them can go to the Crystal Pool like she can, like Brier can, the caretaker then immediately gives them all permission to go to the Crystal Pool, because they helped out his daughter. It's actually hilarious, man. Carmine absolutely loses it with rage. She was trumped by Friede yet again. So yeah, the episode ends with Carmine raging, and the Rising Voltaclers deciding to go to the Crystal Pool to find Brier. So overall, this episode was a really great one, dude. It was a lot of fun seeing our heroes chilling out and enjoying the festival, and I think the episode really nailed how they represented Carmine. Carmine has a lot of haters in the games because of her sometimes mean-spirited attitude, but the anime kind of balanced it well, I think. They toned down her meaner side a little, but they still kept intact her hot-headed competitive spirit, you know? They still made her angry, but they did it in a more funny, humorous way. She bounced off of Friede really well in this episode, and I can't wait to see more of her in the future. But dude, I do totally understand why a lot of people have been criticizing this episode. Like, where was Kieran? Where was the Loyal 3? Where was Ogerpon, you know? It does really suck that Kieran especially wasn't here. He's literally Carmine's brother, and he's one of the best characters in Pokemon's history. It would have been so fun to have him here, man, and I really hope we see him eventually. And look, I do also understand the people who are a bit gutted about Ogerpon and the Loyal 3 being nowhere to be found, but I'm pretty sure I saw a few background characters with their masks on from the games, you know? So at least there were some little nods towards them. So I don't know, maybe that whole thing did happen already in this universe. It's hard to say really whether the Harvest Festival is replacing the Festival of the Masks or whether it's like a totally different thing, so I guess I understand why some fans weren't really too big on this episode, because it did really neglect the whole Loyal 3 Ogerpon Kieran storyline. But simultaneously, the anime is its own thing, you know? I still really enjoyed this episode for what it was. The festival seemed like a lot of fun, it was good to see the characters chilling out, Carmine was awesome. So although the episode did cut out a lot from the Kitakami from the games, I really don't agree with the fans who are claiming that this episode butchered Kitakami, or butchered the Teal Mask DLC, you know? That seems really over the top to me. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this episode below. Did you like it as much as I did, or do you agree with the criticisms? Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed my review, and join our Discord server also using the link below. And on that note, at 3 AM while I'm recording the video right now, thank you all so much for watching, and best wishes until we meet again!